England completed their Rugby World Cup campaign with a victory as they narrowly overcame a proud Argentina performance in the third-place playoff in Paris. Earl slid over as England shot out to an early 13-0 lead, but Argentina clawed their way back and were briefly ahead through Tomas, Cubelli and Santiago Carreras tries, before England's Theo charged down a kick and crossed. Owen Farrell's boot kept England's noses in front as he exchanged penalties with Nicolas Sanchez in a nervy finale. Backed by a believing crowd, Argentina launched a late assault on England's line, but Sanchez pushed a penalty to tie the scores wide, allowing Steve Borthwick's side to finish France 2023 with a win. After seeming set to stroll to victory early on, there was heartfelt relief among England's players as the final whistle blew. It means England's campaign ends as it began. 7 weeks ago, they overcame the Pumas 27-10 in the heat of Marseille. 3 minutes into that game, facing 77 minutes without the sent-off Tom Curry and with 5 defeats in their previous 6 games behind them, things looked grim for England. But they ground their way to victory on that occasion to kick-start a campaign that came within 3 minutes and 1 point of beating South Africa in the semi-finals to make Saturday's showpiece. Several of England's young guns pressed their cases for future inclusion in a game free of knockout pressure, but higher on quality than the team's previous meeting. Hooker Dan impressed with his energy and appetite for work, while Marcus Smith was enterprising and incisive in attack, even if not all of his ideas paid off. There had been speculation that Henry Arundel, the scorer of 5 tries in the pool stage thrashing of Chile, might challenge the national record of 6 tries in a single World Cup, achieved by Chris Ashton in 2011, or even rival this edition's top scorer Will Jordan, who has crossed 8 times in total. However, he did not touch the ball once in the first half and gave away a penalty with a duff kick when afforded space for the first time in the second. England dragged into dogfight. They may have finished the game under strain, but England started it in style. Curry led his team out in honor of his 50th cap and, after a difficult week dominated by his accusation of receiving a racial slur in the semi-final defeat by South Africa, he set the tone from the first whistle. The 25-year-old clamped down over a second-minute breakdown to force a penalty which Farrell had no problem converting into 3 points. Earl, another of England's star performers during the campaign, crossed for the first try on 8 minutes, picking a delicious line off Smith to beat the drift defense after good work from Hooker Dan. When Farrell slotted another penalty to make it 13-0 after as many minutes, it seemed the same tame Pumas who had turned up for their semi-final against New Zealand may have returned to the Stade de France. But, buoyed by a local crowd who sang Ella's Les Blues in honor of their change strip, Argentina belatedly found some fight. After calling for a scrum from a penalty within range and being sent into reverse at the set piece, Emiliano Buffelli wisely opted to take the points from the next similar chance. Scrum half Cubelli darted through a thicket of legs from close range just before halftime to trim England's lead to 6 points. The second half began with a quick-fire exchange of converted tries, with Dan at the center of the action at both ends. The England hooker was brushed aside by Carreras as the Argentina fly-half showed the pace that earned him a place on the wing for Gloucester in previous seasons. 2 minutes later though, Carreras dallied over a clearing kick to allow Dan to charge down, gather up and take revenge and restore England's advantage at 23-17. Argentina sensed England were still wobbling however, and a Buffelli penalty made it a 3-point game. Earl came up with a crucial turnover deep in his own territory that left Argentina's coach Michael Chika thumping the coaching box furniture in frustration at referee Nick Berry's officiating of the breakdown. Chika was similarly unimpressed with the referee's awarding of a scrum penalty against his side which Farrell gladly booted over for 26-20 lead. Sanchez pegged England back once more, but when his side were awarded a 75th-minute penalty wide out, just outside the England 22m line, he opted for posts and a shot at tying the game rather than a kick to the corner and chase a match-winning try. It was a decision that he may have regretted as his kicks stayed wide of the stick and the touch judges' flags stayed by their sides. There was still time for Argentina to get English hearts fluttering in the stands. Juan Martin Gonzalez cantered into space down one wing, before George Ford bravely stopped a rampaging Mateo Carreras down the other.